Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. As obviously you know, if you don't know, the Mets are playing terrible baseball. Just absolutely terrible. Even though they won Thursday night against the Diamondbacks, some of their veterans, primarily Alonso and Francisco Lindor and JD Martinez, won this game. The Mets are 10 games under 500 now, and we're going to start looking at where some of these veteran players are going to get traded. And we're going to start this video with Pete Alonso. This group essentially has been together 5 years, and in that 5 years they've won one playoff game, which they lost the series and they went home. They won 101 games 2 years ago, but essentially they've been a complete total failure as a group. So, with that in mind, we're going to come up with some places that Pete Alonso will be traded. And I bring Pete up is because he's a free agent. Now, I've been against the Mets trading him because of the fact that you're not going to get a lot of value back in return for him, but it is what it is. And it seems like the Mets' stance has sort of kind of changed a little bit. They were sort of against trading him in the offseason and when the season started. But rumor is that the Mets are kind of changing that stance a little bit. And they're probably going to start moving him. I got about 7 teams here that I think would be very interested in him. Now, you're not going to get any major league players, I don't think. But you'll get some minor league players and possibly a prospect here or there. Some of these teams have very good farm systems. Some of these teams do not have farm systems that are considered very good. A team that's popped up a little bit has been the Kansas City Royals, because the Royals are kind of in it. They've actually played well this year. And obviously with their wild card, anything can happen. And they could use some pop. All these teams could use some more power. Every single one of them. Or some change of whatever. Kansas City does not have a very good farm system. I was going through it. It's not very good. The Minnesota Twins, another team in that division, they could use a power hitter. Their farm system is like a middling farm system. It's okay. The Seattle Mariners, the same thing. There isn't a trade that Jerry DiPoto will not make. You call Jerry, hello, Jerry, will you make a trade with me? And he'll be like, yeah, and that's basically it. You don't have to ask Jerry, if you're a team and you're calling Jerry up, you're going to ask him. You didn't even have to ask him. He's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to trade? And that's it. That is a team that's been talked about a little bit here and there. I could see the Mets packaging Jeff McNeil because they've liked Jeff McNeil for a long time. And McNeil probably could use a change of scenery and probably kick in the ass, to be honest with you. If there's one guy of the core that needs a kick in the ass, it's Jeff McNeil. That's a guy that needs a culture change in a big way. The Houston Astros. They sent Jose Abreu to the minor leagues for a few weeks. He's just recently come back. That's certainly a team that could use some power. Even though they're 8 games under 500, they're desperately trying to get back in the race because they've been such a good team. But every dynasty collapses. Every empire rises and falls. And they're now in their fall. They don't have a good farm system, to be honest with you, at all. Houston and Kansas City have the worst farm systems that were ranked according to MLB Pipeline. Then there's the Toronto Blue Jays, who look like they're good. I mean, they're not going anywhere, but interesting thing about them is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could be moved. Bo Bichette could be moved. But I could see a 1-for-1 deal of Pete Alonso going to the Blue Jays for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's a suggestion. And Guerrero has another year in his contract. He's still fairly young. A lot of people think he's overrated. But he's a guy that, he has another year. So he's not a free agent next year. This offseason. The following offseason, he's a free agent. Next up is the San Diego Padres, which I was surprised. There are a couple of things I was surprised about. I thought Kansas City would have a better farm system than they did. And I thought San Diego would have a worse farm system because they've made some trades. That trade for Juan Soto certainly emptied their farm system. But they pump out the players. They have one of the best farm systems in baseball still. Now, I mean, A.J. Pearl, all the trades. He's another guy that likes to make trades. And he has no qualms about trading prospects or trading anybody for that matter. My goodness. I guess that trade for Juan Soto helped out their farm system a bit. But they have some very interesting guys. They have the best catching prospect in Ethan Salas. He's not getting moved in this kind of a deal. But that's a team that's interesting. And the last team, in which we talked about and has been discussed for a long time, is the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have struggled to have any kind of offense. The power is pretty much non-existent other than from Christopher Morel. Cody Bellinger is just coming back from an injury. And that's really a good place. One of the good places. They have very good farm systems. They got the number 2 ranked farm systems in baseball. So they are very highly ranked. Obviously, you know about Pete Crow Armstrong. I don't know if I want to go down that route again. They have a pitcher whose name is Horton. And he's considered a very good prospect. He's their second best prospect. I think they also have another pitcher or another player named Casey, who is a guy that they'd be interested in. In that kind of a scenario, maybe you bring in Michael Bush. The thing is about Pete is if you're going to trade Pete and you want to get the most value for him, you probably want, instead of bundling it, because in the past with these first basemen, you bundle it, you're not going to get anybody. Bundle it means more than one player, 3 or 4 players for Pete. Since he's on a contract year, he's on a premium position at first base, maybe you go and ask for a player that is a good player, a really good prospect, instead of getting like 3 or 4 okay prospects. You get a really good prospect. You get the best prospect that you could possibly get from a farm system. Very similar to what they did last year with Scherzer and Verlander when they got the best prospects that those particular teams gave the Mets. But there's a good chance that Pete Alonso will not be a Met after July 30th. Because July 30th is the trade deadline this year. It's a Tuesday. We will follow this for as long as we can. I don't expect the Mets to turn this around. I've seen enough of this group. This group has to get broken up completely. And it'll start with Pete, and then we'll work our way down. So let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hut. Thank you, and I'll see you later.